6 years ago, I left Florida for Arizona. 5 years later, I came running back to Florida. I could have moved anywhere. I could have moved to Miami, Tampa, Orlando, and I ended up choosing Fort Myers here, but specifically because of Babcock Ranch. Now, I've lived in a lot of big cities, but this time in Florida, I wanted something different. So I'm not just talking about relocation, I've done it. I know what it feels like to pack up your whole family, find new schools, and just hoping that you're making the right decision. So stick around and let's get started. I want to talk about the reasons why I chose specifically Babcock Ranch. So my husband works for the government and we've been moving a lot lately. And it's really hard for the family, but we always want to make sure that we're making the right decision. So we ended up coming back to Miami, Florida. Let me tell you, what a big change from Arizona. So Arizona, I was used to a completely different lifestyle, very quiet, very outdoorsy type of lifestyle, very community. You can have your kids outside, they can play with their neighbors, and it was definitely a different vibe from Miami. When we came back to Miami, it was actually a little bit stressful for me because I knew the kids weren't gonna have that same lifestyle anymore. So when my husband had the opportunity to move again, but stay within Florida, it was really exciting because it was going to be a really big change. Now, we had the option of choosing Tampa, Orlando, or Fort Myers. And let me tell you, Fort Myers initially was not on top of the list. That was all the way at the bottom of the list. I didn't know about it too much, but a lot of people know about Orlando, absolutely, because of the amusement parks. And then Tampa is up and growing as well. But Fort Myers, it's at the bottom, it's starting to grow. I didn't know much about it. And I started driving here every single weekend just to learn a little more about it. I visited places like Estero, other parts of Fort Myers, Cape Coral. So really getting to know the place. And it wasn't until the last day that I almost signed a contract for another community that I said, you know what? I just saw online this community called Babcock Ranch. Let me go in person and just see how that looks. Now, the moment I went to Babcock Ranch, that changed everything for me. I didn't know anything about Babcock Ranch, what it entailed, and I am so glad I went in person. Pictures online will not really describe and give you that feel that Babcock Ranch really gives you when you're here. Now, before I even saw the house in person that I had in mind, I fell in love with the community. So it was me and my children, and we were driving around, and they noticed how many parks and recreational activities there were for them, and they absolutely fell in love. Now, the number one reason why we chose Babcock Ranch was because it feels like a community. So you're driving around Babcock Ranch and you're seeing a lot of families together, walking, riding bike, skating, golf karting. It's beautiful. And I love that community feel that I had in Arizona and I couldn't get in Miami. You walk out the door in Miami and I think I had, in the months that I was there, one person maybe say hi to me. Over here, you're walking around and everybody's saying hello. It's that type of community, but it feels really good. The number two reason why we chose Babcock Ranch was because of the newer homes. There's more modern planning here. Now, yes, there's other communities outside of Babcock Ranch that have new communities, but it's nothing like this one. You have an array of different choices. So you can go anywhere from a townhome all the way to a golf community, all the way to maybe a more low-key neighborhood, maybe a gated community, maybe an open concept type of community. You have everything here. You do have the option of resale homes as well, but I love new homes because it just gives me a peace of mind. I can buy my brand new home. I know it's under warranty. I know if I have an issue, they're gonna help me fix it. And we ended up buying into a Meritage home, and we had Meritage home in Arizona, and it's always been great to us. They've been really great here, but being able to choose from different floor plans on new builds, that gave me so much peace of mind. You can choose your home. They have all types of choices here. Anything from small to big, 2-car garage, 3-car garage, you have it all. So being able to walk into a community and have that array of choices, it's very easy for us. So the third reason why we chose Babcock Ranch is because you're close to Fort Myers without being too close. And let me explain. So before Fort Myers, I was looking a lot into Cape Coral and other cities outside, but what really drew me in Fort Myers was Fort Myers Beach and the downtown area of Fort Myers. It reminded me so much of the Florida Keys. Now, the Florida Keys is my absolutely favorite place on earth. I talk about it all the time. I just love the Florida Keys. And when I went to Fort Myers Beach, we stayed at the Margaritaville and it gave me the same exact vibe. I absolutely loved it. I recommend it if you've never visited. So it is a little bit of a far away from Babcock Ranch. It's about 50-minute drive to get there. It's a little bit closer if you go to the downtown area, but if you don't want to go to the beach every day, but you still want to be close enough to it, I would highly recommend. Another great thing about Babcock Ranch, you're not so close to the beach, so your home insurance is not as expensive. You have a new home. This building, basically this community was built to be resistant to hurricanes. So that's going to be on another video why we absolutely love this community. But I thought it was like a perfect sweet spot for us. The fourth reason why we chose Babcock Ranch is because it feels like it's the season of life we're currently living in, my husband and I. So I've lived in big cities before. I know what that's like. It's very fast paced. People don't say hi to you. The schools are a little bit crazy. I'm not going to say that any school is perfect, but I'm telling you, it's a different vibe. Somebody that comes from Miami, Florida, and I want something calmer. I want something where it feels like I can spend more time outdoors with family without having to be stuck in traffic all day, every single day like we did in Miami, Florida. I want somewhere where I don't have to drive really far away to do activities and recreation with the kids. I want some place where we get along with neighbors. The kids can go outside and play and it feels safe. And this is exactly what Babcock Ranch gives you. Now, the fifth reason and the most important reason why I chose Babcock Ranch was because of the lifestyle you're buying into. And I think that's pretty much the biggest point why people end up making this decision. What makes Babcock different from any other community? Now, you can drive into other communities that look absolutely beautiful and fall in love, but there's very few communities that give you this lifestyle experience like Babcock Ranch. Now, Babcock's in the top 5 of best communities in the whole nation. It's growing so fast, so many things happening here, but you're buying into this luxury lifestyle where it's a golf community. I have my golf cart in my garage. If I need to go to Publix, if I need to go to a park, if I need to go to a farmer's market, which by the way, everything is right in here, I can get on my golf cart and go. I can literally on Saturdays and Sundays walk across the street from where I live and go to a farmer's market. I'm one of those, I do a lot of juicing. I love buying organic, and although there's not an organic supermarket around, farmers markets are the next best thing that you can do. And I have one right across the street. If I'm ever running out of fruits or veggies, I can just walk on over on the weekends and go shopping. Now, there's restaurants in here. There's a lot to do in here. I don't have to drive far. Usually when I drive far, it's more if you want to go to Fort Myers Beach or if you want to do something outside of Babcock Ranch. But I even have my physician in here. They come on a bus, actually. Their office is inside a bus and they park right in front of my house so I can see my doctor. How convenient is that? That's not something you see in Miami, Florida. The school in here too, it's an A-rated charter school. I knew this was the right place when I drove around for the first time and I saw so many bicycles and scooters parked outside the school. I said, you can't do that in Miami. You can't do that in a lot of places. We feel so uncomfortable having our kids just being alone and riding bike to their school. We never know the things that can happen, and that's how safe this community is. So it's a whole lifestyle in one here that it basically got me sold. Babcock Ranch is it. So if I'm gonna make this big move again, I told myself I want something where I can truly enjoy my family can enjoy it, my kids can enjoy it, and just live differently than any other community here in the area. Now, the last thing I'm gonna say is that Babcock Ranch is not for everyone, and I totally see that and get it. So I don't really have nightlife here. You're not close to the beach. You got HOAs going on here, CDD fees, which I definitely understand that that's not something that everybody wants. But I told myself, I want to buy into the lifestyle. I want this for my family, and I'm just going to go full throttle with it. So I totally get it if it's not for you, but I want to share my experience as to why I chose this place. So if you want a community that feels more grounded, more lifestyle, newer homes, look no further than Babcock Ranch. I recommend it. If you want to come over and just take a look, I'll be happy to also give you a tour of Babcock Ranch just so you can get a feel. So if you're relocating out of state, I've moved buyers all the way from different parts of the nation: Texas, Florida, New York, Arizona, you name it. So if this is something you're interested in, maybe you're moving in the next 90 days, or maybe you're moving in the next year or two, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and let's just talk about what your plans are, maybe how I can best assist you. Feel free to subscribe because I'm going to be making more videos about Babcock Ranch and Fort Myers living, so you're going to see a lot more from me, my honest experience about living here. Thank you so much again for watching, and until the next video.